Deadlights.
Why? Welcome to the Deadlights podcast. I'm your host, Sam.
And I'm your other host, Leslie. And we're bringing you another week.
Another one.
Another week of horror.
Horror. The horror show continues. It does.
Horror.
This one is a little bit of a different one. We kind of got a little, I would say, lighter horror. But still, I would say one of the horror masters of the modern age. Mr. Tim Burton.
Timmy.
Tim A. Not the first Tim Burton movie we've had on the podcast. But
no, and not the last.
Most likely not the last. It's always a pleasure to watch some Tim Burton stuff.
It was really nice.
It was nice.
A change of pace, and I like it. I love what the bucket does for us.
I really do. It feels like it takes us on this ride that goes up, goes down, goes wrong. But still, it's a ride.
It is. And I forgot how beautiful this film is. Yeah. It's cute.
What did we just watch?
Well, yeah. What did we watch?
We watched Corpse Bride from 2005. Directed by Tim Burton and Mike Johnson. Written by Tim Burton, Carlos Grangel, John August, Caroline Thompson, and Pamela Pettler. When a shy groom practices his wedding vows in the inadvertent presence of a deceased young woman, she rises from the grave, assuming he has married her. Oops. Classic miscommunication there.
I always catch myself almost marrying everyone I come into contact with.
Wow. Yeah. What a life.
It's, that's why I have anxiety.
Mm-hmm. That's why you have so many rings on your fingers now. You're just married to
look at how many rings I have.
9 different dudes or girls. People. So like we started off saying in this podcast, we got another Tim Burton movie, which is a great pleasure. We've watched Sweeney Todd in this podcast before, also with Johnny Depp and Helen Bonham Carter. Mm-hmm. So we got the dynamic trio back together again, but this time in animated form, which is very cool.
Cute. I forgot that Tim Burton loves music as well. It seems like there's always a song or two, and that was really fun. It feels very Disney without it being Disney.
Yes,
because it's bleak, and you know that it's a Tim Burton movie.
And that I think is an awesome power to have as a director. And maybe we should just jump in the can.
Let's do it.
We're already talking about Tim Burton. Let's talk about him for a second. Because that was one of my first notes, was this is a Tim Burton movie. You can tell by the colors, the tone of the movie, the music, the animation style, that this is absolutely a Tim Burton movie through and through. It looks almost exactly like A Nightmare Before Christmas. It doesn't have to be live action or animated for us to know it's a Tim Burton movie, because we're getting the very, very typical darks. It's always dark. All of his stories are always dark, gray, bleak, faded blues, a lot of that stuff. And even though we're in an animated movie, even still, the lighting was a big part of it. Lighting coming in through windows and heavy shadows casted on people's faces, which is another very Tim Burtonism. He loves these intense light sources shining on people's faces to just make everything feel more dramatic. And so it's awesome to be able to see that it doesn't necessarily have to be animated. It doesn't have to be live action for us to know this is a Tim Burton movie. And good on him for honing in his style so much that we can know it within the first minute.
He even dresses like it. Even Helen dresses like it. They are their art, and I think for him to use his ex-wife for his work for the longest, I like that. I consider those kind of partnerships when directors use the same people. I don't find it to be unfair, or I don't see it in a negative way. I actually think that you can find people that you can collaborate with in a way that just getting that same work from someone might take you even longer. You can accomplish it, but if a person just speaks the same kind of language in this kind of form, it is very special, and you don't want to lose that. So I think it's pretty cool when, yeah, like just directors are like, nah, I'm going to take you and I'm going to make every single movie and you're going to be included.
Please, Elder Gutney.
Now, why go up there when people are dying to get down here?
Sir, I beg you to help. It means so much to me.
Like, there's a reason that directors use the same cinematographers, the same editors, the same producers. It's because those relationships are built on trust. And the director trusts these people to show up, do a great job, and also knows how to collaborate with people. I mean, I, as a filmmaker, have always said that the most important thing is collaboration when you're making something. It's only going to make the project better.
Yeah. Collaboration ties in with communication. And when you're in a relationship, that's what you're building.
I think the proof is in the pudding. So I think when we see movies that really work well, it's probably more often than not because there was a crew that worked well with each other, trusted each other, and wanted to be there, which is great.
And
great to see.
I mean, you definitely have to have that for film, obviously, but like stop motion, that takes so long. 1 second is a lot of fucking work.
Which I thought was awesome in this movie. Everything felt like seamless almost. It felt like everything had a flow to it, and that kind of added to this like kind of cool, whimsical style.
A girl was a beauty known for miles around when a mysterious stranger came into town. He was plenty good looking, but down on his cash. And our poor little baby, she fell hard and fast.
That world was just full of color. It's not the underworld, right?
The land of the dead.
The land of the dead. Yeah, that was just so beautiful, full of color. And it is so funny that that is where the color lives, in the dead people. And up in the living was so bleak. It was so sad. I didn't want to be there.
Living is actually much more dead than the world of the dead, you know, which is much more alive.
Going along with that, just the design of the world was amazing. You know, going down to those like small details of every sign, every piece of clothing had to be made. And each character was given love. It was exciting to look at. Even like the moments of like, you called out like the secondhand store. Like they're just like those small, very tiny moments that are just like very punny, very funny, and they're visual gags.
I'm glad you're mentioning that because my God, this movie was punny.
Punny as hell.
It was so punny.
Married, huh? I'm a widow. Oh, how rude.
Why don't you go ask him?
All right, I will.
After all, he couldn't get far with those cold feet.
Play dead. Sorry.
I'm glad you mentioned the like actual stop motion because it was incredible. It was awesome to see that collaboration between these two directors come together. And it really worked.
Yeah.
It really came through for sure. Let's get to the meat.
Let's do it.
What this movie's talking about.
Heavy themes for a children movie,
Definitely.
no?
I would say so. I mean, this movie is definitely dealing with taking control of your life. We start with Victor. He's just kind of a rich boy who's going along with what his parents say.
I always knew I deserved better than a fish merchant's life.
But I'd never even spoken to her.
And then he's getting arranged to be married to Victoria, who's in a similar boat. She is just being used as a commodity for her broke parents to get money again.
According to plan.
Our daughter will wed.
According to plan.
A family led
From the depths of
deepest poverty.
Finally, we have Emily, who is the corpse bride, who is blind and blissful about love. She didn't care who came along and put the ring on her finger. All she cared about was being married because I think she felt like that was her only purpose.
I was a bride. My dreams were taken from me. Well, now I've stolen them from someone else.
So we have three people who kind of are directionless in their lives, and this movie is about them kind of finding it, making their own decisions for the first time. What do you really want? in life? I think that was a big question, or death. That was a big question in this movie. What do you really want in life or death? And then make your own decisions. You know, it was a movie about growing up, essentially. Which, yes, they're heavy themes. I think important for children to think about, though.
Now I feel like I'm caught in the tide, pulled out to sea.
The sea leads to many places, dearie. Maybe you'll land somewhere better.
There is a lot of people, I included, that for the longest time I felt like marriage was something that I needed to do in order to be successful in my life. Also bring some sort of stability and I don't know, like I can't think of another word besides honor for my family.
Yeah. It's funny. You're not mentioning happiness, though, because that not necessarily with those things.
No, not when you're doing it for the sole purpose of pleasing other people. You know, and I think, at least for me in my culture, marriage is definitely something that you can do for love, but you have to do it. You have to get married. So regardless of whether there is love or not, lots of people get married so young, and it could work for people, but also like take the time that you need to figure yourself out. And like you mentioned, don't make decisions for the sake of other people. You will never be happy.
Do it for yourself.
Do it for yourself.
Do you not wish to be married, Master Van Dort?
No.
You do not?
No. I meant no, I do not wish to be married. That is, I want very much to... Ow!
Like you said, Victoria and Victor started off by not being able to make their own decisions. They really were just being pushed along in life. And I think that what happens is when you don't take control of your life, life will just take control of you. And there was a line about serendipity.
Serendipity brought us together, and no force on earth could tear us apart.
That could be a bad thing, or it could be a good thing. Because in the end, how this movie worked out was it was through that situation, the serendipity, that he actually learned, no, I can make decisions for myself. I can choose to be with this person because I want to, not because of what anybody else wants to do. And that was the Corpse Bride, Emily's decision at the end too. She rejected essentially being a bride, took off the ring, and was like, I can be by myself and be fine. And then she turned into a bunch of butterflies
and flew away.
Lived her best life or death. Should we get to the cook?
Let's cook it up.
Let's cook it up, because I mean, I think it was a good way to, talk about these things through these characters that are about to embark on a big part of their life, which is marriage.
Since I was a child, I've dreamt of my wedding day. I always hoped to find someone I was deeply in love with. Silly, isn't it?
Is this what we really want? Am I doing this for the right reasons? Is this for my parents? Is this for someone else? Is this just for society's sake? And it wasn't until Victor went all the way to the brink of death, literally to the land of the dead, that he realized that he could take control of his life.
Yeah, that he does want to get married. He does want to have that life, but he needs to fucking get a spine, have some freaking bones in his body to make a damn decision.
Mother never approved of Scraps jumping up like this. But then again, she never approved of anything.
Yeah, and I love how Tim Burton tends to have these like heavy themes intertwined with something so beautiful, but like a little scary, but a little romantic. I love the way he just muddles everything together and makes this form of art that I'm pretty sure a lot of people enjoy.
Oh, for
I
sure.
think a lot of people are Tim Burton fans. for that reason of it just being so weird and cute and goth.
Oh, for sure.
You know, so goth.
He just knows his worlds so well that he can tell these stories, whether it's a love story or whether it's a story about death, in the same way. You know, it's always going to be in his voice. And good on you, man. You're making art that is pure you, and that is not easy, especially for a very mainstream name to do. You have studio pressures. You have, you know, very much like this movie, have people, authority figures telling you what to do and what decisions to make. But in the end, I think he just makes it for himself.
Yeah.
And he makes these decisions that he thinks are going to be the best for his art.
Director has to have a total picture in his mind of exactly what he wants. And that's what's so wonderful about Tim. He really is my favorite director.
One thing also I wanted to mention that goes along with this, like Tim Burtonism, is the music.
Working with the songs with Tim is always fun. You're just telling a story and putting music to it.
He is definitely going back to his roots with those songs.
It feels like music is a really important part of his universe. And I thought specifically in this movie, music was a huge part because it was, first of all, how Victor was able to connect to Victoria for the first time, him playing the piano. And then it was also how Victor connected with Emily playing the piano.
Pardon my enthusiasm.
I like your enthusiasm.
And so there was this like idea almost that even in these dark worlds, the land of the living, which is very drab, and the land of the dead that is full of dead people, music is still alive. Music is almost like the breath of life that connects the living and the dead worlds. And so in this movie specifically, I was like, this really works here. I think that I love the fact that music is a huge part of this movie.
I know that I am dead, yet it seems that I still have some tears to shed.
And Sally just kind of does remind me of Emily in this kind of like hopeless romantic way. We're both just like dead or monsters, but they're seeking love. Even though that is such a typical, you know, quote unquote, typical like woman's trait that it's like a trope. I think it's really cute to just see as well every now and then, especially stop motion. And I love the how they, like the actresses voice them. I think Sally and Emily have a very just like whimsical kind of like sound. So when they're singing, I don't know, it just sounds so beautiful and magical.
And I think both those characters too, they are both prisoners because Emily is trapped in this idea of being a bride. Like that is essentially her prison. Sally's trapped under the control of that mad scientist guy. I can't really remember his name because she's a creation of his. But they do both have their moments of rising above and understanding what they want and then taking it.
And they're strong without having to let go of their softness. And that to me is a really great way to depict, if you're gonna have like a meek character, don't just have her transformation then be her fucking getting strong and rigid and like losing the softness, because soft is still strong. Don't mix that up.
Yeah.
Just because you see it like someone that's nice doesn't mean that they're not strong.
Right. It's keeping the femininity, because I think people mostly would be like, oh, well, they become stronger by becoming more masculine. And
exactly.
No, that's not at all what we're saying. They are still very feminine characters, and they can use that and still take power without, quote unquote, becoming a man.
Because even the, you know, Victor is not quite masculine.
No.
He's
boyish.
Yeah.
He's like a little boy.
He is a little boy. And him making decisions does not mean that he needs to get then rigid and masculine. He just needed to stand up for himself first.
This morning, I was terrified of marriage. Meeting you, I felt I should be with you always, and that our wedding could not come soon enough.
Let's get to the thrill. Yes, I mean, our obvious villain in this movie is the rich lord who is revealed to be a murderer in the end, who actually was the guy that killed
Emily.
You! But I left you.
He's a very typical, just in it for the money, there for the money, doesn't give a shit about anyone else except himself and his self-preservation. Pretty easy to see him as the villain.
You have only to suffer this union until death do us part. And that will come sooner than you think.
I really just wanted to, in the thrill, more talk about the Burtonisms, you know, like kind of like what we mentioned before. It feels like we're watching another saga in A Nightmare Before Christmas. It feels like we're almost in that same world, just based off of the darkness of it. He loves living in this macabre world, this gothic world. So macabre.
And the style of the people, they're super elongated, very skinny.
They're almost like caricatures.
Yeah, they are.
Because big hair.
The pastor had a hump, but he was like very tall, long chin, long hats. The Land of the Dead reminded me, some of the skeletons dancing and stuff reminded me of Mask. Like Jim Carrey's
I can see that
Mask,
for sure, yeah.
Character.
Mm-hmm.
It was really fun.
A tragic tale of romance, passion, and a murder most foul.
The final ride, you know, it was
nice.
It was a pretty quick movie, in and out. You know, we told our story, and I feel like it was really entertaining through and through. We got some pretty awesome sequences, really cool music numbers. Shout out to Danny Elfman, who also did the music for Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm sorry, Nightmare Before Christmas, and I'm sure plenty of other Tim Burton movies.
He might have done something for.
He might have done something Nightmare on Elm Street wise. Who knows? He's pretty prolific. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty entertaining movie. I think that my one main thing was I did like the fact that there was music throughout. I didn't necessarily like the music that much. No. I thought that the songs were okay. So yeah, each time we were singing a song, I was like, I don't know if I'd go back and listen to this, like some of his other music, but I appreciate the fact that it's in here.
The only one that I really liked and made sense for it to be there was the welcoming of dead folks to the Land of the Dead. I like that. But like the song that Emily sang, I think it was supposed to be her like Sally moment, and it wasn't quite. And then it looked like they were going to set us up again for another song, and then it didn't. And I'm like, okay, thank you.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm like, let's not sing anymore.
Yeah.
So at least they were aware. They were like, we don't have to fill it with music.
Yes. I'm glad they were restrained on that.
Marriage is a trap. A trap. Is a prison for, at least mentally, for people like Emily, who just wanted to get married, and she waited and waited and waited to meet her husband underneath this tree to her death. But she was still free in her movements. She was still herself and authentic and genuine, and had this kind of freedom that Victoria didn't. And she was very quiet, and she was less human than Emily.
She wasn't trapped by life. She was dead.
Yeah, she was dead. So there was some form of freedom there.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure. Victoria was very stiff. And Emily was very fluid.
Mm-hmm. She was just like dancing and swaying the whole time.
Yeah.
And to me, I think that's why the ride is... I enjoyed this film, but I just wish the ending could have been constructed so then everyone just chooses themselves.
Yes.
And like doesn't marry.
Yeah, I wish it would ended with like maybe Victor offers the ring to Victoria because he still thinks that that's what he should do, but Victoria's like, I don't accept this yet.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
You know, like let's get to know each other. Let's actually live our lives and try things that we want to do before we get into this. Because then that leaves like, okay, maybe they will end up together and end up married and that will be their path. But maybe not. Maybe that they decide that they have other things that they want.
Yeah, because we're uplifting Emily, but we're not really uplifting Victoria.
Yeah.
Victoria's still in this, like, I am being, like, given off to marry someone I don't know.
Yeah.
So I love that approach of just, like, her being like, actually, let's wait. I would like for you to teach me the piano or something. And that's how they start their relationship.
That's great. Because that is how it started.
Yeah. That would have been so cute.
Come on, Tim. We just got a great ending for you.
Shit.
I love you though, man. You're
$1 million more, I'm sure, that would have cost for y'all to like make just that scene.
Maybe they thought of that ending after they finished and they're like, oh fuck.
It was like,
we're not going back now.
Yeah, we ran out of supplies.
Whoopsie, ran out of clay. Oh well.
My fingers don't work no more.
We've been working on this for 10 years.
10 years.
Corpse Bride. 2005. Wow.
Cute.
Good one. Let's get to these Smash Pumpkins.
Let's
pummel them.
Let's smash them.
I guess I'll go.
Yeah.
I don't really go first usually.
You don't.
I don't. So really enjoy this movie like we already talked about. It's, you know, it was a fun ride. Love the Tim Burton, living in the Tim Burton world for an hour and a half. Always enjoy that. I think, you know, yeah, I think the ending could have been a little bit better, as we said. Music wasn't my favorite. And in the end, it wasn't that scary. I mean, it is a children's movie, so really not scary at all. So that does have to be taken into consideration. Mm-hmm. But I did enjoy it. I really did enjoy this movie. I think I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Nice. That's literally the same number.
Same number.
3.5.
Wow.
Yeah. Just because I think I have, I mean, not to give it that 3.5 and compare it to another of his films, but I remember when it first came out, I also had the same kind of like thought. I was just like, all right. That was decent.
Oh.
That was like a nice time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like my favorite.
No.
But also, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay for it to not be my favorite.
Yeah.
They took a long time, like we've been saying, to make this movie. Stop motion's always really just like incredible to see.
Yeah. We always praise filmmakers for completing a movie, but I think especially when it comes to animation, because that shit takes so much longer and so much more work.
So much work. Holy shit.
Yeah.
But yeah. Still cute.
So cute. Thanks, Tim.
Cute. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Good to have you back on the pod.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we got for next week.
Is it? I think it's your turn.
I think it's me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I remember you reading that one.
I did read it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what the fuck is this? And you're like, wow. And I was like, oh, wait.
Oh, I just picked this one out.
I hope so. That's.
I picked it out. Typically, I, go in a little deeper, see how I feel, but I just grab this one.
I did. The bucket did fall the other day, and so some stuff got jumbled in there.
Okay.
So
well, good. I'm glad it got jostled. Here we go. Ooh, wow. Okay. An Egyptian mummy searches Cairo for the girl he thinks is his long-lost princess.
Mommy.
You got it. The Mummy. The Mummy! From 1932. OG Universal Monster movie.
1932.
30s. We're going back to the 30s. Yep, this is a classic Universal Monster movie. So.
I am so excited.
Fuck yeah.
We haven't had one of these in a minute.
We haven't. We
no.
haven't.
I'm still hoping we pull that freaking monster from the Wet Lagoon? No.
Creature from the Black Lagoon? Yeah. Okay. The Wet Lagoon. I'm not sure. What's a dry lagoon? That's what?
That's
this
called
lagoon's dry.
That's called global warming.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's a dry lagoon.
That's a more modern take on Creature from the Black Lagoon. Creature from the Dry Lagoon. I'm thirsty. I am so fucking thirsty.
Help me!
It's a very quick movie.
Throw some water on me.
Oh
God.
Yes, I'm still hoping we pull that one as well.
Yeah, because I know that's one of your favorite movies.
Creature from the Wet Lagoon. Amazing.
Oh my
All right,
God. Well,
we'll see you next week for The Mummy.
The Mummy.
The Mummy.
In the meantime, you guys can call us, please.
Give us a call. At
773-669-6677. And then go to Instagram, follow us at Color Me Leslie.
And me at Beep Beep Richie T. You can follow us at the Deadlights Pod.
Oh, yeah.
See all the updates. If you're in the Chicagoland area, come check out horror movie trivia every last Friday at Hex Coffee Company.
Yeah.
Really trying to force that one out of my mouth. Pushing it out. But yes, check out our Instagram for updates on that.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun. We make the trivia as well, folks. So
yeah, we do. Do you think you can outsmart us?
How? The Mummy?
Evil pub.
I keep crying because of these allergies.
Oh, it's good. It's not my face. But until next time,
let's get spooky.
The Corpse Bride.
I want to be a bride.
And dead.